Oh man, what's good? What's good? Up in the morning, up with a cup in the morning with Chuck. Hey, that's like how much wood could a wood? You know that saying now. And it's kind of crazy because how much Chuck could a woodchuck chuck if a Chuck could a woodchuck? Look, how much trip could a triple cut drink if a triple cut drink could trip? If he trip, when he trip. Yeah, y'all know I'm up with it this morning. At first, I was kind of like down a little bit. Then I kind of got out that groove. It was one of those mornings where it was out, but at the same time, it was all blessful and thankful. Now I got everything going early this morning. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate anybody that's coming in, letting y'all know that's rocking with me, that's seeing my cup float around. You know what I'm saying? Just like magic. That's how we coming early this morning. What's good? I drink toast to all that good stuff. But the reason why I named it cancel culture is just because I've been seeing a lot of things about everybody is so finicky about everything somebody say and everything somebody do. Right? So anytime somebody feels offended, they feel like that's the end of the world. Or by they feel offended by anything that you say or do that you're wrong. But for where I'm from the South, where a lot of this politically correct stuff it get overlooked because of, I mean, let's be honest, the way we talk. Anywhere in the South, they have some type of slang or accent, and our accents it varies, it changes. So you pretty much can point a person out by his accent in the South. Like I'm just gonna say, because I'm from the state of Louisiana, right? Now, just in Louisiana, you can hear somebody talk and you can say, "Oh, he from New Orleans," right? Me personally, when you hear me talk, you're like, "Oh, yeah, I could." But you see, I did a lot of moving around, so and I tried. But when you hear people from Baton Rouge, yeah, even me, you can hear a lot of shit. I say Baton Rouge. You can hear Baton Rouge, Lafayette. When they talk, you can hear more of their accent in the way they have to us. They have more of an accent than New Orleans have. And then you have Lake Charles and Shreveport. To me personally, their accent are similar, but Lake Charles sound more like Houston, or excuse me, a Houston accent, and Shreveport sound more like a Dallas accent. So if you in Texas, you know the difference in somebody that stays in North Dallas, I mean in North Houston or South Houston, they all have different slangs, and then you have people that stay in Houston compared to the way they talk. And if somebody come from Dallas, y'all could pretty much pick up their accent. Where compared to somebody from New York, hearing somebody in Texas, and to them everybody sound like they from Texas. They just have a Texas accent, like how it is in Louisiana. So it's more accent bases and stuff like that. And we have and our vocabulary and the way we use words. And once you use a word, we're like, okay, if this means this and this is what we're trying to say, we just going to say that. You don't have to take a word and make it look all pretty and sugar coated and say just to make it like I think it's a janitor, they call it a custodian or something like that, and we just like, oh, the janitor or whatever like that. You know, just the simple words are like, now this might be a little touchy for some people when you say things like they'll be like mentally challenged or somebody that's slow, not mentally challenged, but let's say somebody that's normally slow, and we'll say, man, your ass retarded, and a lot of people will say, oh, that's so offensive, but just the way we talk is like, and they be like, yeah, it is, I'm a little retarded, but you know, it's more of a mentality, and the people, you know what I'm saying, relates back and forth, and they don't feel offended because we just being straight and direct. We're not sugarcoating things, and when you start sugarcoating things and stuff like that, you leave room for a person to feel offended because they don't know where you stand, right? So it's more like, okay, this is where I stand, and this is where how I feel, and I'm gonna let it be known. I'd admit, see now, this is the thing, right? This will blow a lot of people's minds. Hold up, you ain't supposed to come like this here, but this will blow a lot of people's minds, right? Now, I'm from the South, Louisiana. They have a lot. What let's say people would call like rednecks or hillbillies. I don't know what the terminology of it is, to be honest with you, because that's not nothing I use. I'm just trying to relate to what you would say, you know, just people like that, uh, and people like let's say for example like the people that was played on Swamp People, and you know shows like that, right? Where they try to make them like, oh, these country people and primitive and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, Most people that you see like that, and you'll think that they're the most redneck, flag waving, you know, racism people that you'll ever meet. But once you get to talking to them, even with a lot of accents, you know what I'm saying, you'll hear them. But most of the time, they'll give you the shirt off their back. They feel the same way you feel. They have a lot of the same stances that you might have, and it might blow your mind. But the way the media portrays certain people in certain categories, that you'll automatically assume that all, you know what I'm saying, this group of people feel a certain way. But they don't realize in this group of people you might have one or two standouts that feel like this help that they glorify this. Then you have, because you have to think about a lot of the kids they growing up, let's say in these poor white communities. 9 times out of 10, if you're in the poor white community, you're intermixing with the black community. So the younger generation is growing up right there next door to black kids. If not, you know what I'm saying, I ain't saying like just right there with every going to the same school, seeing the same thing. So they getting first hand experience and they seeing these things. So even if their parents might have been racist or whatever like that, now they could be told this thing, but when they own two eyes and they seeing something, and that changes their mentality. So now this next generation, that's basically the generation that's right above mine. Not, you know what I'm saying, not, you know what I'm saying, parents that, you know what I'm saying, the generation with like Big Cuz stage and all the ones that have been on that level. That those generations have a better mentality, like, you know what I'm saying, interacting. And let's say if you're going fishing, and they'll come through with so many different plays, like you be looking like, man, why work for somebody else, and you could live like, you know what I'm saying, man, have a peace of mind. A lot of times they be sitting back chilling and having a peace of mind. That's the best thing you go get in your hustle. And it's a thrill because you're doing something, feel like you're making progress. Well, okay, this person here, he a fisherman, he going to catch the fish, but then you might be might catch shrimp, right? Boom, you catching the shrimp, then you get this person here like, hey, I give you such and such, you know what I'm saying? Hey, help me clean the shrimp out. All we doing is taking shrimp and put them in this here and taking the stuff like that. We done went this here, we done made enough money for the whole week in one day. We done went out there that morning, got out there chilling, having fun. We don't have to worry about all this extracurricular type stuff. We just enjoying life, you know. The sun hitting our skin. We get, you know what I'm saying, getting the great nutrition that people are neglecting to tell you that you need. Instead of getting all this false supplements and shit, you need that sun, not that AC. You mean, oh, it feels so good under this AC. Yeah, it might feel good, but at the same token, you have to adjust your body to how it feels, the climate. Like the plants and stuff that's outside, you know how they live. And if you notice, they drive in the summertime, in the springtime, everything start coming to life, waking up and start rising and feeling good, compared to in the wintertime, everything start balling up and things start hibernating. We're the only creatures that feel like, oh, this is how I want to feel. Why do we feel like we should feel like that? And because we might get a little hot and start sweating. That's our body, you know what I'm saying? It's a good thing you sweating and getting stuff, and you're supposed to be drinking a lot of water. Now your body is flushing. It's like it's different between running water and water just sitting. It's a big difference. I mean, you could take that analogy and break it down, and maybe if you can catch that much of it, then you'll better catch the next step of how you should treat yourself and how you should feel, and how, you know what I'm saying, you get your nutrition and stuff like that, and the mentality of your mind will help you have the abundant mindset where you won't have this cancel culture and feel offended by anything and everything somebody might say or might will say, or somebody that might come along that might have said something that you do not agree with. What about if this situation start coming about? People starting to feel offended that you, yeah, not you, but the other you, feel offended, right? So now, let's say if a movie come out and it might project some type of racism, right? And this person say they're offended by it. So now, the next person say, well, I'm offended that you offended by them showing this, that you want them to take this out of a movie. I'm offended that you want to hide this fact, or I'm offended that you want to show this. You know, it's always, I'm offended by this here, I'm offended by that. And it could go on forever. I mean, this is like a Pandora's box. We need to have some type of statute of limitations. We need to have some type of guideline and get rid of this wild, wild west cancel culture, mob thing where everybody be carrying the torch and they be going and wanna kill every. Oh, you know what that reminded me of? This TV show. Damn, I can't think of the name of it. It's made by Steve McFarlane. Steve McFarlane, the dude that made Family Guy. All right, the dude that made Family Guy. Uh, McFarlane. Uh, Steve McFarlane, Steph McFarlane. I think it's Steph McFarlane. Whatever the dude name is, they made Family Guy, right? All right, he got the show. It's something like Star Trek. Now the cool part about it is it's similar to Star Trek, and it got the same elements and the feel of it. So once you get to watch, you watching the show, and the budget that they framed it around, you be like, damn, they did an amazing job, and your expectations are in check from the start. So you're not expecting no major Star Wars. You're not expecting nothing to be groundbreaking when it comes to 3D and special effects. The only thing that you're looking for is a half decent story, and they delivers on every aspect. You see, like the way they frame this story might revolves around this planet and this thing that's going on, similar to how Star Trek was, but at the same time, they try to get you invested into these characters with a small budget. To say that Stephen McFarlane did it, and when he did that, it it's impressive to me. But the reason why I brought up this television show is because they have this one episode where they flew out. Cause see what they do is basically they fly to different planets and they go for resources and help the people, and then sometimes it'd be a domino effect where this end up occurring to that because the fleet that they in, that's what they do. They go out to research and find things, that type of stuff. But so when they land on certain planets, like they had one planet that they got certain planets where they're not supposed to go around. It's like a certain primitive level, right? And on the primitive level of this planet that they didn't know was they had aliens. So they were saying like the planet was basically like in the infancy form like how Earth is before they start learning about other galaxies and stuff like that. And this planet, what it do is, I mean, another reason why it was able to stay like that because it drops in and out of dimensions. So the dimension that everything in is over here. So this planet is over here in this dimension, and then they got a portal or a hole or something that it just goes in. I don't know exactly how they framed it, but so once it comes on this side of the portal, is in a different dimension. In this dimension, time move at a different pace. So about time they get from this dimension back over here into our dimension, like so many of years to have passed by. So the first, and it might over in this dimension, it might have felt like 48 hours, and over in this dimension, it might have been 2 centuries, right? So it might be 2 centuries over here, then all of a sudden, boom, it might pop up into this reality, and in this reality, it might be here for a couple of days, and then it pop back out, and the only thing it sees if in 48 hours it had this much of advancement, and another 48 hours it had this much of advancement, and it pop in for a day or something like that. So they had went to this planet, and on this planet, another thing what made it different about this planet was it had got to the state where it came to what to the I'm like this time that we are in right now. Well, maybe they're aliens, maybe they're not. We have some spaceships and we seen some things, and on the news on CNN they released some unidentified flying object that can't be done by mankind, and it's just them and people just speculating and whatever we have right now in this case scenario. Still saying people with 10 forehead weighing theory as people. Yeah, those people. We right there, right? So they was but the thing about it is what made the thing about it too is they had different things that go on to make the people unique, right? So what made them unique is one of the aspects is in a reality is when people was there, everybody had like a badge or like how you had your cell phone or something like that, or your watch, or it was like you had a piece of technology, right? So while you're doing all your technology shit, right, boom, boom, you're going on with life. Now, say if a person committed a crime, and when it comes to his punishment, right, let's say if he said something or did something or whatever the crime was, and instead of you having a judge, a jury, prosecute, all the stuff that you need, you know what I'm saying, to go to court and stuff. What they had was everybody. They seen what happened. They show it on because on their world they had TV screens everywhere and stuff like that. So they see what happened and they ask everybody that's them, vote innocent or guilty or how many. But the way it was like points or something. So by the trickle down effect of by that by the what I'm saying, by them coming up under these different laws and stuff and different ways of life, that it was more of a point system more than anything. So however their point system worked, it was like a mob effect. So the whole mob can go running against you. And I brought up this here to bring back all the way back around. The callback was from the mob system is you have our culture, right? That's set up, that's designed this way. And in our mob system is called cancel culture, right? And I ain't talking about the cancer cells and nobody that that need help or whatever. I'm talking about cancer, like they'll have something and it'll be running and they end it as in now it don't run no more. So they cancel end it off the air, right? So they'll find somebody that have done something so long ago when what they said or what they did was appropriate for that time period, but not appropriate for this time period. Now, what I was looking at was under the circumstances is this case scenario, you have to look at, okay, at that time you could do something, but in this time you can't. So should we rip you off of something if that's how you felt at that time period? Or should we say, well, people grow and they change and they feel different when they felt at this age or this era, and they wasn't exposed to this, and now by them getting this exposure and things is coming into the light and they getting enlightenment, now they feel this way. Do we have that opinion for people, or do we have, well, if you did X, Y, and Z, your consequences is A, B, C? You know what I'm saying? Back to the beginning. Don't pass go. That's how they go. But sometimes it get a little, what I'm saying, finicky. Well, some people they be looking like, oh, do this, do that, do that. Then you have all these different organizations, all these different groups. Sometimes it's justified, but then sometimes it takes something that's justified and somebody want to piggyback on the back of that just to make a name for themselves or get glory for themselves or even get gold and riches and jewelry for themselves or in fame or popularity for themselves or secure anything for themselves. They'll do anything. So they have in most case scenarios, what we always end up running across is you have this pure thing that's trying to do something that's good, that's beneficial, that actually made an impact, and then they get negative uh, flag from it because you have these other things that's attached to it that's gonna use this for its own benefit. So now the only thing you did was open up another door for things to come back and infest things in a different way. Like for example, right now with women's rights, it's past needed. I mean, trust me, I'm for women getting equal rights. If you can do whatever I do, I've been impressed by. Before all this was going down, they had some women that really impressed me. Like when I say on a job site, and what I mean by that, I was working on a job. You had to get it, grabbing, packing, putting it, and doing all this stuff. It's always like boom, 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 boom. Y'all know I got energy, so I'm gonna doing this to get it. And I look up and I see her, she over there getting it too, like boom, 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 boom. And then I seen her, she was, and I was steady moving, I was moving, and then just felt like she just kept going faster and faster, and she was just getting it. So, after we finished, and it wasn't a one day thing, so she was, getting it. So I had, there was much respect just seeing, doing that. And not just because she was a woman, right? It was more on the fact of she was holding her own. So if she, like, if it was a dude, if he was holding his own, you get respect. I don't care who you are or what you think you are. I treat everybody as equals. I don't care what you is. You could be the president of the United. I always say that. I might say, oh, that's the president. Oh yeah. But in my mind, in here, more important than a man to stand outside drinking beer outside the road. But at the same time, the only difference is you have more of an impact on people than he will have in decisions that he make in his life. Now, the thing that don't change about me is that this is a human being and you are a human being. And what I see is the vibe and the energy that comes around me and being grace in the presence of a person. Like it could be a day I could sit back and the person would tell jokes all day and just spread good vibes and stuff like that. And you could be the president and put people in a bad mood and come around and talk down to everybody all day. So what will make your lifespan and what you are more important than anybody else? So to me, I don't care who you are, what you are. Everybody is equals. I'm not the VIP person, but I get a lot of times where some people have to go to VIP because it's more about protection because it's not them from, you know what I'm saying, trying to get to the people. Is they always got that stand out that try to do it. Like you have a party, as always that one person that want to fight somebody. You have this going on. You always have that one person that always want to fuck something up. You always have that one. Now it ain't just one person no more. That's the bad thing. It used to be you always had that one drunk person that can't hold his alcohol, or you go to the club, there always is one person that always get into it with somebody. You know, it always been that one person. And that one person, I always said it was never them. It's never, it wasn't because of me. You know what I'm saying? He started with me. Or, it's always that one person in every situation. A job, somebody that can't hold a job, right? It's always that one person. Always getting laid off from a job. Always getting a new job. Always getting laid off. And they always saying it wasn't nothing they did. It was always something about the boss or the person that was working for, or the way they did things, or the way they ran things, or they didn't like me, or they had it out for me. It's always those people. Always gonna see them. And there's always one. Matter of fact, like I said, it used to be one. It used to be one. Now, what the outrage for that, the council culture, stuff like that. But, it's only one of me. And me so cool is three. But, let's see what we're going to dive in this morning. See what's going on. What's on some up shit, you hear me? Alright, she kind of funny sometimes. She cool. I like her. She like a woman that you know what I'm saying, treat more like cuz, good friend, let's hang out, have a good time. I'ma bang everybody around. Put smiles on face. But she like that, she pretty cool or whatever like that. I don't know why I'm supposed to do that. But yeah.
We don't always have enough time to cover all of
That's
the
what the
recent
news got
Here
going.
with the recap is late night writer Amber Ruffin in a segment we call Amber Says What.
Yeah, Amber said what?
You guys, things have been crazy. Okay, first of all,
but that she don't really talk like that. She just be doing that just for the
and I was like, what?
whatever.
They were like, we are still not gathering in large groups. And I was like, what? I miss people. Then they were like, this is good for you, Amber, because you're not going to be able to get drunk and act a fool in a formal gown. And I was like, what?
One of them people.
You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, one of them people.
Then Donald Trump bragged about passing a cognitive test. And I was like, what?
Huh?
Do you think they give those to everybody?
She said,
they
what?
give
I
them
said,
to people
yeah.
who are losing their dang minds. This is like you bragging you took a sobriety test. If you weren't swerving all over the place, you wouldn't have to identify shapes and animals. You want to impress me? Spell cognitive. The test is too easy. Look, I'll take it right now. Idiot. I passed. Then, a megachurch pastor in Atlanta suggested that instead of saying white privilege, that people should say white blessing. And I was like, what? White blessing? You mean my nickname for Anderson Cooper? White blessing? You mean the stripper from Tina's bachelorette party? White blessing? Sounds like the nastiest sex move. Then, I read a story.
Hold on. I gotta stop for a second. Said white people want to change white privilege to white blessing. That's extreme. So you have white privilege. They want to change the term from saying you have. Hold on, let me do the how does she go? Quote unquote white privilege, and they said the church want to change, calling it quote unquote white privilege to white blessing. And she said that sounds like a sex joke from the church. I drink to that.
About how a black man carried a Black Lives Matter counter protester to safety, and I was like, what? But the makers of the Green Book were like, what? We had better get to writing this story from the perspective of the man who was carried. You know what they're going to call that movie, don't you? White Blessing.
White
Then
blessing.
I found out there was going to be a professional women's soccer team in Los Angeles with Serena Williams and Natalie Portman as investors. And I was like, what? Hooray! I'm going to find out when auditions are and prepare a dramatic monologue. Then my friend told me it's not auditions, it's tryouts, and you don't prepare a monologue, you play the sport. And I was like, okay, fine, but I'm still going to wear a gown.
Wow.
Speaking of sports, I found out about the NBA bubble, and I was like, what?
What's the
Because
NBA bubble?
and the thing about the NBA bubble is it's a metaphorical bubble
A
and a
metaphorical
physical.
bubble.
Amber, you don't have to talk about that.
Yay! Then I saw that people are circulating a petition to replace Confederate statues with statues of Dolly Parton, and I was like, what?
Dolly
Now,
Parton.
that's what I call a white-centered solution. No shade to Dolly, but if slave owners get replaced with anything less black than Malcolm X, I will freak them out. Then Ivanka Trump was like, eat these beans, and I was like, what? No. Then Obama and Joe Biden sat down for a socially distanced conversation, and I was like, what are you doing sitting so far away from each other? Is it 6 feet or 60 feet? Obama, are you trying to distance yourself from Biden? That's not going to work because he mentions you in every sentence.
Obama.
Then infectious disease.
Hey, Obama was sitting a yard away from Joe Biden. Now, I'm still going to keep saying this repeatedly. I'm not a fan of Joe Biden at all. If you're a fan of Joe Biden, that's cool. Me personally, not my dude. He just, to me, he's I'm a pull on the Obama train ass person. That's all he feel like to me. Like a half a dime. Anybody been knowing my half a dime joke? Joe Biden. He said, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you're not a half a dime.
Expert Dr. Anthony Fauci threw out the first pitch at the Washington Nationals opening day. And I was like, what are you doing playing catch? You had better get inside and take care of America. I walked around with a cut up sock on my face and you were at recess? Get inside and do something. Then I saw the pitch and felt better because it was clear he didn't waste any time practicing. Then Marco Rubio posted a picture of him and the late Congressman John Lewis, but it was actually a picture of him and the late Congressman Elijah Cummings, and I was like, what? Do you think that all of us look alike? By us, I mean people who don't like you. Then I heard that Jennifer Hudson is going to play Aretha Franklin in a new biopic, and I was like, just a little what? Just a little what? What did we? Then the most confusing thing in the world happened. Okay. Trump was going to give a speech, and he had these two trucks.
Trouble, man.
A blue one with a bunch of weight in the bed and a sign that said 40 years of regulatory burden, and then a red one with no weights that said 4 years of regulatory freedom. I guess it was supposed to represent how free Republicans are. Look, I think it's nuts, and it brings us to a segment called Amber Says Why.
Oh, shit. Amber said
You
why?
wanted to make some point about how regulations
Let's find out. Then I'm coming in with it, too.
This is how you chose to do it?
Yeah.
Why? Why this? Why did someone do this? And what is the this that they did? What's the point of this? To prove it could be done? Why?
Yeah.
Why did someone do this?
I don't
what
know.
was the desired effect?
Let's find out.
Laughter, pride, shame, what?
All
what
that
is
shit.
this? A dare? What? Why? Why is this happening?
not?
And what is happening? Why this? Why? Why did this happen and why did you let someone take pictures of it while it was happening? Did you know this was going to be public?
Yeah.
Was it meant to be private?
Yeah.
Did you know that people can see this? I can see this.
Yeah.
Where did this idea come from? A dream? A threat? Where?
Yeah.
Did this happen against your will, or was this exactly what you wanted? And if so, why is this a want that you have? Why are your wants bad? Don't you want good? Why? Did a dumb person tell you this was not dumb?
Yeah.
Or, and this is what I think happened, did a smart person who hates you tell you this was not dumb?
Yeah.
Who lied?
Yeah.
How many people had to lie for this to take place?
Everybody.
100? Did you think that this was what someone wanted done? And who are they? And are they okay?
I don't know.
In closing,
It's gonna be crazy.
why? This has been Amber Says What? And then
I like
she says
Amber.
why.
Hey, if you don't fuck with Amber, I don't know what's wrong with you. She crazy, fun. Ain't she on the Late Show? That's enough of that. That's enough. Didn't I say that's enough of that? But yeah, if you don't know what Amber is, she cool. She on the Late Show. She do a lot of writing. She actually a beautiful lady to look at too. But if you're interested in just josing, she is a good person to give you some good entertainment and some, you know what I'm saying, some knowledge that's going on. check out on the Late Show. I don't mind throwing in people. You know that I just don't. It's me against the big corporations. You know when it comes to bringing out content. I don't care for the big corporations because big corporations ain't. Nah, they beat the game down and they try to hold out people like us that's trying to come up and actually have talent and actually enjoy doing this. They be trying to hold you back. And let's say if you go to YouTube, the thing about it is so crazy is it be so hard just to find like a person that's really enjoy doing this here, really believe what he doing, having fun doing it, coming out willing to do it and bringing it, they'll take it. And if it's not fitting inside their box, what they want to push out for a person to hear, they'll take it there and push it way down this line. You could type in, I'm going to give an example. Like if you had a pit bull that was blue, female, wearing Trump hat, right? That was your title. Pitbull blue wearing a Trump hat. So, boom. You type in Pitbull blue wearing a Trump hat. The title of your video, right? Now, you're going to see blue pit bulls that's blue, Trump hats, blue pit bull. Now, by the time you get down to your title with the exact name that what I title my video on, it's going to be down the list or not even found in there. So if a person typing in, trying to find the exact title, sometimes it don't even pull up. And I was like, damn, okay, so I was trying to figure out why mine's not pulling up. What can I do to make it better to try to help at least get me out there so you can find where I'm at sometimes. Like if I'm going live, especially when I'm in my zone and we just going, and I'm like, damn, why is they put they shafting me or they hit me they bottlenecking and they keeping the flow of people from coming in my direction? Is it something that they fearing or something they don't want out there? So or something they just not respecting me right now? Or the people is it gotta be asked for? So I'm trying to figure out what some of the solutions are. Just even if I title something crazy, half of the time where you can see no search results with that exact title, you still couldn't find some of the videos. So I was like, oh, so it's more like, is it more putting out more content and do this? I was like, you know what? Regardless of the situation of how that worked, sooner or later, I'm gonna stumble across the answer or how to be able to do it. Something gonna occur, or somebody gonna say, hey, say Triple Cup, look, this was going on, and that's gonna you know what I'm saying, that's gonna happen. So with me keeping that mindset, like right now, it could be just me and you in here, and we just run it, checking out the news, and as it grows and come through, and I could, you know what I'm saying, and I could see the change and the you could be around when everything getting you know what I'm saying, when I'm putting stuff up and I'm getting better. Because if you've been around and seen how my channel used to be to how it's coming along now, it's the effort and the time and putting in the craft and showing my creativity, things that I like to do on a day-to-day basis. It's not a day that don't go by that I don't try to think of something creative or try to put together something creative or try to build something or see some type of progress or move forward in life or try to see things and spread good vibes around with people and bring it. I say, you know what? I could do this on the internet. Going live in the morning time, a lot of people say, oh yeah, check me out. Yeah, hit me up because they want to holler at me, because in the morning time, a lot of people, we wake up, they be like, I wake up out the bed like, hurry, I'm up, let's go. But at the same time, you know, I don't be like one of the people that be like, and it's too fucking early in the morning for that. You know, it's that early in the morning. You don't hear nobody yelling and screaming like, Mr. Carr, yeah, go. Unless you're trying to hit yourself hard and like a long time, you know, to wake your ass up. You know what I'm saying? I can understand that. But in case scenario of just trying to wake up, you know, that's why I want to, you know, because I know me, my personality is more active in the morning time as well. So I'm trying to keep that balance of I'm not too over the top like you're here because it's too early in the morning, and I just don't have that dry mouth syndrome talking evolved at me. You know, that's not something I'm too good at. But I know they got some people that got pronunciation is truth, and they do a video and they can take their time and they'll narrate and, you know, hit every word on every note at the right time, saying the right shit about the right shit, you know, that type thing. So me personally, I figure like that's not my step, that's not my tea, but this is something I love to do. You know, say early in the morning, you know, boom, I'll drink to that. All we're gonna do is just catch good vibes. You know what I'm saying? Just you take some good vibes. You know, like Oprah Winfrey throwing out some good vibes. Man, I don't know. I entertain myself like this all day long. I do this until I have no problem sleeping. When it's time to go to sleep, you know, re-energize, I have no problem. People be saying, I take this, I take that. I be like, nope, 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 and nope. You know what? Some people like, oh, they'll take Adderall to keep them calm during the day and whatever the stuff they, you know what I'm saying, the medication they take, and they keep them all slow moving and feel, you know, where they don't have to be, and then at nighttime they have a problem sleeping, so now they taking this medication to put them to sleep, and now they can't get up, so now they taking something to wake them up. I'm like, bro, all you got to do is just put in your mind, one night, one bad night, have a good life. I'm telling you, all you got to do is, okay, if you're a night owl and you're trying to change over, I'm gonna break it down. It takes this first and foremost. You gotta want to do that, right? You gotta say, you know what? They got a lot of stuff going on. I need to do this, you know, and don't think about it as I gotta get up for work or I gotta get up for this or I have to. You gotta change the mindset to saying I want to. Like when you was a child and me, I don't know if you was the same person, but when I was a child, they had a cartoon that used to come on at 5:30 in the morning, from 5:30 to 6 o'clock, right? And the next cartoon didn't come on until like I think it was 6:30. So I wanted to catch that first extra early morning cartoon. So I always woke up at about 5:30 in the morning, and I watched that cartoon from 5:30 to 6 o'clock. Then from 6 o'clock to 6:30, I'll be brushing my teeth, get myself together, and then by 6:30, some of the other kids would try to catch, and I always was missing some of the other cartoons. In the beginning, I used to catch everything, and was there, and I already had my stuff together. I already brushed my teeth. Sometimes I used to fix my own cereal and stuff, you know, just stuff like that as a child, and I was boom, being able to catch everything. And now, with that same mentality, waking up doing stuff like that and getting up with energy, it makes you want to be more active. And you know me, I strive for being active in activity and people that that's motivational for me. And I'm seeing them doing things, and I like to motivate them, and they motivate me by, you know what I'm saying, just seeing it, and it's like an engine, and you're seeing it's going. That's why I like the whole concept of synergy. Synergy, collective mind thinking, right? And that's with me, threes and collective mind thinking and all these type of things. When they say come to conspiracies and stuff like that, they got some of these things that coincide, like how some people say they don't believe in zodiac signs, and some people say, well, I do, and you'll look at it, and some people say, well, that was kind of close to what's actually going on, and then some people say, well, they have, if you do this to that and that and this and that, you can almost, you know, stuff like that. And I say, well, that's cool. And you want to break it down in that fashion, and if that's what you think that makes it work, and that's why it works the way it works, as long as it works. And I kind of feel the same way about how, you know, saying they got to circle certain cycles. Like, I don't know why, but these were the threes that pops up with me when it comes to like triple cup and synergy. When it's collective mind, it's not just two, it's all of us. It's not about me, it's about we. And how I feel about a come up is not about me being rich and stepping on people to becoming successful. It's more about the journey. And with me, with the journey is more about the people that's with me and the enjoyment that we're doing on getting to the goal. See, some people think about nothing but just looking at the goal, and they stepping on people and pushing people out the way just to get to the goal. Me, on the other hand, the enjoyment, the richest part of it is the journey. So right now, me and you chilling, relaxing, you know, sipping on a cup of coffee. Right now, I'm enjoying the journey, and that's why I say, you know, and I appreciate you for coming rocking with me, because this is a journey that we, not me, is on. But with all that, let's find out. They got a lot of Ip Man. Hey, is it Ip Man or IP? I always call it Ip Man, but then I see it's capitalized on both. But you know, tomato, maybe. And I never really played it because I always watched the way you had to read the subtitles, and it never dawned on me to listen to what they would, you know what I'm saying, they language, to see when they call his name, if they call it IP or if they call him IP. But it might, IP or IP might have been something different. That's probably why I didn't notice it at the time, because you know their language is different. And then when they said his name, and I never seen the English version of none of them. All the time I always seen it was always had sub captions in. And and the reason why, yeah, I gotta thank Savage for that. So like, yeah, why you gotta watch this here? You gotta watch this here. And I tell him I don't like watching especially cinematic movies where cinematography is a must. and you have to read. All right, me with cinematography movies. See, I'm an artist, so I like a lot of art, right? So this person might be talking, and you got to read the sub captions that's going across the bottom. But at the same time, you seeing this in the background where they might have a mirror. So I'm doing this here, and then you might see the beautiful essence that's gazing off of it, that's going with the light coming this way here, and you might see this one tree that it came through, that it did this here, and you know, whatever that could be going on, just the background and the cinematography, and I'm just looking at it and how it's blending in with the background and seeing what's going on with what they talking about, and then the score is the music, right? A lot of people got a misconception when it be the music. The music might be just going. You know, it might be something simple like that, and it don't sound like no song. It just might just be something like that, and then go boosh, and then all of a sudden something in the background, because you might have heard, you know, just little noises like that, and the scores and the sounds, and then all of a sudden you might hear something coming, money. Now you got a beat, but it's playing at a perfect time because somebody might have came in and was watching something on the news and clicked the station. Boom. Now, you know, stuff like that. So I'm a person that is keen to details like that. And then if I got to sit down and read this while all this stuff going in the background, I'm going to either miss this or miss this. Because sometimes it'll be bloom, bloom, bloom. So if I bloom and then about here, if I look up and look down, I'd have missed this or I'd have missed that. One of the two. Sometimes you can't do them both. But let's see what they got going on now. Y'all wanna go check? Let's check on. Oh, another thing too. We're gonna have to get Microsoft and Google to start cooperating. We need this not, you know what I'm saying? This is not benefiting us. What I mean by cooperating is stuff like this YouTube app that's on the Xbox. They need to be ashamed of themselves. Not just Xbox, but Google as well, because this is their platform. They're supposed to be, the representation is for them. So my thing is, they need to do better than this bullshit right here when it comes to the next Xbox One Series X, because this YouTube app on the Xbox is horrible. I mean, it's so horrible that it's like the worst. It could have been better on a flip phone. That's how I'm looking at this. Like, okay, the home game, music, you know, news and search, the way they have it designed, and the fashion, the way you go through the situation, and you starting to look for things, it's too clunky. It's too boxy. It's too unnecessary. You're not able to find things that you want to look for. You can search for things, but you can't discover things. It's not designed for you to find things or being able to come across things or being able to actually dig inside of a rabbit hole. Like, you know how you run across one thing and then this one thing leads you to another thing and to another thing? Google, the way they have it on the Xbox, is so poorly designed that it's hard to try to find anything to dig. It's like everything is surface level. Boom. Then all of a sudden you hit a hole with. You say, well, let me try to go find something else. So now you trying to dig around and find something, Then all of a sudden you find a little hole and bloop, you get stuck again. That's how I feel like when it comes to digging. And you know me, I like to dumpster dive. It's just not. Dumpster diving is when I call going down a rabbit hole on YouTube, finding and searching and discovering just odd and hidden things. Like I might be looking up one thing that leads to another thing that leads to another thing that might come across somebody like, damn. And then I come on and you know, stuff like that, and they're like, damn, you know, these are type of odd things that some people might have heard of, or some people might haven't heard of, and I might say one thing about it, be like, damn, have you heard about such and such, and then they might have a whole different section that goes this way here that you might come in and say, oh yeah, I heard about that triple cut, what about this here? Then I go see this here, then we could bring up the discussion for maybe a third party that might have heard a portion of this and a portion of that, but haven't got the full picture. We could actually bring a bigger picture to whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even if some people might agree and disagree, or some people might troll. You know how people troll. I don't, you know what I'm saying? It don't bother me, to be honest with you. I just don't like when people troll and they trolling somebody else and they getting, you know what I'm saying, getting not just offended, but, you know, some people be having, you know, shit going on. They have things going on. Sometimes it don't be all fun and dandy and roses and stuff like that. You know, some people be having some actual bad things, or they might be trying to quote at the time, and you actually made the somebody that's having a bad day, worse day, or they may actually at the breaking point and snap. You know, they have people that they go through things like that. That's why I try not to talk about people or actually talk negative. And then to me, it don't really make sense because if I'm saying something about a person and it's either more like, what can I do to help benefit this person, or why is this person doing something that's going to hurt me, and what can I do to avoid this case scenario? And I'm not going to sit there and talk about it repeatedly. I'm going to figure out what I need to do, how I need to do, if I could do something, the way I could do it. And after I figured out the case scenario, I put it into action. I sit it to the side. When this occurs or when this comes about or when I have to do this or how I have to do this, I'm just going to do this accordingly. And after that, I'm going back to thinking about other things like drinking my cup of coffee in the morning time. See, I'd rather have focus more about just drinking on this cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying? That be my thought in my mind of the day over some bullshit. I take the bullshit, adjust it accordingly. And after I finish adjusting it accordingly, know exactly what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. And the stuff I can control and the stuff I can't control, you know what I'm saying, I let that stuff go. Because you can't control everything. You can only do what you can. And after that, back to focus on the cup. Even the cup wanted to get it shine up. But, let me see if they got anything that's going on in news media. Nope. I ain't finna play no music. I know how that shit be going down. They'll get on your ass about, oh, you played music and now you can't this and this. Andrew Yang, 13. Let me see. Okay. Let's go ahead and get to some of this type stuff. Alright, let's go ahead and jack a podcast. Like, hold up. Get up. Get up. You see your podcast? We about to take over. We're going to take their questions over. Y'all ready to get this up? I need a follow partner. You with me?
Education lately because I have.
Yeah, so I mean, you produced educational content that
let me know if that's too loud.
Tens of millions. You know, you developed.
Why you talking? I'm gonna go get my refill. We taking this shit. Hey, shout out Yang Gang.
And right now,
Yang
there's so
Gang.
many families and parents who are struggling because their kids all got yanked out of school, and we're all wondering what the heck is next. So we'd love to hear what you're thinking.
Well, I mean, can I ask you first? Like, you know, I think that you probably have a pretty unique perspective on education, also on education policy that I probably don't have. And I have a lot of fear about what secondary education, or like what post-secondary education looks like right now. What do colleges and universities and community colleges look like? You know, if we find that we cannot gather in the same way, and like how do we interface with the problems that creates? Because of course education is like so fundamental to the foundation of like all of it, like all of society, all of innovation, all of like progress.
I kind of heard.
So post-secondary, many colleges have no choice but to try and reopen in September, because their finances are constructed such that if they were to not have a semester, they would go bankrupt and go out of existence. That's true for many schools, including some high-end schools. There are only a handful of schools that have these, you know, big endowments. And even the schools with big endowments actually are operated in a way such that it would be ruinous for them to not have a fall semester. Now, the big question is, how can you charge what you're charging if all of it's online? And a lot of kids are struggling with this right now, where some kids who have a choice, which is not many of them, but are trying to defer, because they're like, hell, if I'm going to have my first year of college be this online bullshit and spend $60,000 for the privilege of attending class in my jammies and whatnot, like they're not into that, which is understandable. But from the school's perspective, they're like, the show must go on, like the school must open. And like many things with the coronavirus,
hey, that's like one thing when Andrew Yang was saying, what resonated with me. Everybody was thinking about him just talking about UBI, free money, free money. It wasn't just about the UBI. Notice about the entrepreneurship that he was talking about. Like he was actually bringing a lot of stuff that made sense in Louisiana. Now let me tell you how it makes sense. A lot of sense. Now, this might sound far-fetched for some people, but down here, this is reality, right? Now, you could be a person, right? Two people. I'm just going to use these two identical people. I'm just going to say A and B. Hopefully, I can remember that. A and B, right? Now, A and B going to school, right? They get to, let's say the 8th grade, right? A go from middle school to high school. That's the 9th grade, right? Now, B drops out of school in the 9th grade. So now, 9, 10, 11, and 12, A go to school. Now, these years here, these 4 years, B goes running the streets for 2 years, doing nothing else but just running the streets, having fun, partying, and just doing crazy stuff, right? Just doing everything because he had the mentality he was doing crazy stuff while he was in school the whole time, drop out of school. Now, after that, 2 years, then, you know, said he go off and get a trade. 6 months, right? He come back. Now, this person here, in 4 years, he'd graduated school. This person here, in 3 years, he'd had fun, did all the crazy stuff he wanted to go do in life and running wild, and everybody thinking about, oh, yeah, this person here. But he go get a trade now. Welding, plumbing, piping, anything like that or whatever like that. Or when he, when they turn 18, right? Now the thing about it is different is A go to college. Now A going to college. B, what he do is he just messing out doing the odd jobs and stuff like that. You know, he get people tell him about working at the plant. He can get on at the plant making $20-something an hour or whatever like that. He started off at the plant. He had to go get his OSHA card and stuff like that, so now he working at the plant. This other person is doing 4 years at college. He worked 4 years at the plant. Now, when this person here that did 4 years in college, down here, now this way it gets critical. This way it changes, really give you this mindset. Now, this person here that did 4 years in college. When he get out of college, he living down here. This person here, these 4 years, he been working at the plant. Now, he'd have 4 years of experience in his plant, and he'd got up. Now his money started growing. Now this person here that did the 4 years in college, he started working at the plant. Now let's say best case scenario, he might be making more money than him now, but he had 4 years, right? 4 years that he ain't make no money. Now on top of these 4 years, he have this debt he have to pay to the school, right? So now this money that he making, he got to pay to the school. Lost out of this 4 years. Now this person that didn't do none of this have been working that 4 years, don't have all this debt about this here. He could take that same money, now he can invest in something. Now he could be doing, now he could just branch off and just have his own career doing whatever he want to do because he had time to stack this money. Now he could be an entrepreneur and do whatever he wanted to do because now he done grew and he had all these life experiences, right? And he have the car and he have this and he have that. So those things are not of interest to him no more. Now this other person that went to college, he ain't had a chance to live his life. Now he want to live life after the fact. Now he older and still trying to do all the stuff you should have did when he was younger. So he have to battle back and forth with that. And at the same time, this is his job now, his career now. He got that mentality. He the boss over you, so now he want to feel like he's important, so he become a dick in life. Now he got this negative attitude now in his heart. He's coldless and heartless because nobody want to fuck with him now. And they like, well, if you don't fucking be dick, I might as well be a dick all the way out. So now he actually became like this person that he projected to be, which you know he was gonna be anyway. So now you have that case scenario, and then you have the kids that seeing people that's doing 3 things. You either entertaining, that's, you know what I'm saying, sports, music, acting or something like that. You're doing entertainment, or you hustling, right? Or you working, and the third thing is you probably working in a plant that's making decent money, right? That's what the main things that you see. And you see the people working in a plant, making money, living like getting this nice house, doing this and doing that. And in your mindset, you're like, oh, I could be the hustler, I could be making money, getting it like that. You know what I'm saying? But you like, oh, I can go work in a plant. So now you having a mindset of you doing something, you doing the right thing by going work in a plant compared to this person. You making all this money, and now you under the concept of why is I'm going to school? Now you seeing other kids and they doing all this stuff here, and you're like, oh yeah, you can get you a trade now. And now other kids seeing this mentality and they doing it like, okay, what is the purpose of school? Oh, then you're a hustler, right? So when I was seeing Andrew Yang talking about being entrepreneurs and stuff like that, our mentality had shifted away from how people was thinking about that. It was more about like, oh, this person gonna get this boat be a fisherman, go get this here, go sell it to this place here. We could sell fish, you could sell shrimp. That's one thing. You go hunt, you could grow food, you could do this here, you could build, or you could do plumbing work. It's always a hustle. You could sell things. You can go buy some fruit, put some in a bag, and you know what I'm saying, sell it for a cheaper price, because a person can't buy just this here for this price here. They're going to have to get this quantity of things, and they don't need all this, so they'll buy this here for you for $5. Why would they buy from this person here? Because this is person's livelihood. So he going to make sure that what he have, that he giving, is good, because if you get sick or something goes wrong with his food, that's going to kill his career. McDonald's don't feel the same. The kids that's working at McDonald's, they there for a pair of shoes or hitting the club so they can get drunk. So if they get in there and they get pissed, they don't do nothing, they wiping their nose and steady grabbing stuff, wiping their feet, doing this stuff, coughing and all this other stuff. They don't give throwing the food on the thing, might drop it like, oh shit, I gotta get in, that's too far to walk. Boop, pick it up, keep going. You know, and then they kids. Barely getting paid anyway, so they just there. They just doing it. And even if a lot of it are automated away, you got to think about it in that fashion. Big restaurants, the same way, same form, fashion. But if it's somebody personal stuff they own, entrepreneur, if they have a man that's out there selling his food, he out there barbecuing and doing this him, trust me, he want his food to taste the best. He want everything he doing to actually be at the top of its could be. When I go to fast food restaurants and stuff like that, I'm tripping, man. All the white girls, you tripping? Talk fast food. Fast food is simply supposed to be, I need it now, cause I got somewhere to go. Give me some food right quick. Come on, give me some food. That's what fast food's supposed to be. And you know, get a little different taste here and there, like tacos or hamburgers. But that whole waiting for fast food, that's what fast food is not meant to be. People think that fast food is the restaurant, but they try to portray it that way so they could charge more about this nasty ass food that's bad for your body. And then they had this person that's out there. He be out there slaving, doing some ribs all day long. Come get you a slab of ribs, some barbecue, or pork and beans, or whatever, like tater salad, got this and this and this and that. You get all this here for like $7, $8. Boom, you get a big plate, now you're getting some real food compared to running to getting this cardboard food that literally... Let me show you this tastes like Little Caesar's pizza. This tastes like, when I bite into Little Caesar's pizza, it reminds me of this. This what it tastes, and I must have ate some cardboard as a child, so don't play. Yeah, y'all ain't crazy. Y'all know what cardboard would taste like. Y'all know what cardboard tastes like. I ain't the only person. But think about it. You have an option when it comes to stuff like that. And when Andrew Yang came out and he was talking about entrepreneurship, bing, that shit rung the bell in my head so hard, like, damn, let freedom ring. And then he got to talking about let X, Y, and Z. Simplify this here. Break all this here. See all this tangles? Untangle that shit by just cutting all this in. Just throw the tangle part away and weave it back together. Let's be strong. Wakanda. But let's keep jacking for podcasts.
There have been problems building up in the system for decades where our colleges have been doing a lesser and lesser job of actually educating people and preparing them for modern day life or the economy.
Especially per dollar spent, yeah.
Well, so here's the way the numbers work for these colleges. If you look at the cost of various things, most consumer goods have remained relatively stable in price. Books, electronics, clothes, like you don't see the prices going up to the moon. So what are the exceptions to that? The two big ones are healthcare and education, where healthcare just keeps getting racked up and up and up, like higher prices to the moon. In colleges every year are like, hey, guess what? We're 4% more expensive, and then you like compound that, and college now costs 2.5 times what it cost even than when I went to college,
right?
Or when you went to school. We're like both in our 40s.
And that's like about 10, 15 years ago.
So then if you're a kid, you're like, okay, I guess college is $50,000 or $60,000 now, and your family. And then does that mean that I get paid more on the way out? No.
You can buy a house for that money.
Opportunities completely stagnant.
And rent it out.
And I actually,
money for life.
I've gotten rid of a lot of them. So how the heck do I afford to go? I take out massive government loans. And the government's like, don't worry, we've got you. So now we're up to $1.6 trillion in school loans. And families feel like, well, I have no choice but to take it out because it's college and, my kid's got to go. The kid's like, well, clearly I'm going to college. And so then they get loaded up with this massive debt load. And from the college's perspective, they've been paid. They don't need to adjust particularly. And they just keep ratcheting up the price every year. So if you dig deeper and you say, well, why is college so expensive? Why is it that it has to go up in price? It's not professors. It's not even facilities, which most people would guess. It's non-academic administrators. the number of non-academic administrators in colleges have gone up 150% as prices have gone up. They just keep on hiring more administrators.
Yeah.
So
And like a lot of, it's like a lot of money being spent on sales, basically. We're spending money to make money, and that's just increasing. And but if you don't, I was watching a friend of mine go through this process. Her kid's going to college, and she was like, I got this huge booklet from this university in Alabama, but the University of Montana. I live in Montana. So the local university only sent us a tiny little pamphlet, and so I just don't feel like, and I'm like, no, don't go to the school that's spending all that money. They sent you $100 of material
Right.
out of the blue chances
are
are
90%
of those are not going to result in a sale or more than that. So the customer acquisition cost is going to be astronomical, and that's what you as a student are paying
the growth
for.
spurt
To
on hold right now. We jacking them.
Teachers, not on sales,
So basically, what we're doing is we comment what we want to comment on, what we want to comment on, what we want to comment on, cause we got this shit on lock. That's remote control.
And so yeah, watching and people in academia have watched this happen, and they've been comfortable the whole time, just watching as school has become closer and closer to not being worth it, and eventually it actually isn't worth it anymore. For a lot of majors, I think you're already there.
See, right?
Where
the last game that you won in Madden,
it's not going to be.
I'm gonna give it to you.
School.
It's cool. It's cool. You need it
in
one.
The same way as healthcare,
you did your thing. Because I told you,
the one,
a little slack on you,
this is
gone.
supposed to be all about
I already knew it was always. As soon as one or two plays out,
should be this really great.
I'm just gonna hold on. I'm just gonna hold on there because I know it's over with. But that'd be one of the fun games.
Professors kind of can't feel that way because of how much it costs.
Wait, they're lucky enough to become professors, man, because you have all of these PhDs who are in the permanent postdoc adjunct hell where they're going to get paid subsistence and there's no future. And it's hey, tough luck. We just keep minting PhDs.
Besides for
year or
colleges and
without
schools.
the classroom.
Not
Then
personally.
you lose the classroom, which is the best way to teach people. But you do lose it, you lost it anyway. And
It's too many. You know what I'm saying?
because we had
There's
to find
too
a
many
different way
hands in
because
that
it just
pipe.
cost too much
I know
money.
this because LSU is in Baton Rouge,
this is
but
the
LSU is
crisis that
LSU,
many
Louisiana.
universities are struggling with right now. And I
was
think
understood
that
don't need to be
they're going to
explained
be
while
able
they.
to bear it for
Excuse
one
me.
season.
Got hiccups.
Though a bunch of the marginal schools
I
are
mean, I'm
closing
growing
now.
up,
It's
up,
like if you look
up,
around
up,
the country, thousands of retailers are closing, thousands of
Right.
theaters are closing, tens or hundreds of thousands of restaurants are closing. I'm sure hundreds of
Right.
schools are closing. Not the big, wealthier ones or the major public ones. They can stand it for one season, but depending upon how long this drags on for, you're going to see more insolvent schools pretty quickly because a lot of families are going to look up and say, wait a minute, this makes absolutely no sense for us to be paying this kind of tuition.
Do you have advice for kids who are graduating right now? I say kids, but they're, I mean getting, this was their last semester of college. So welcome to the job market, it's COVID.
Yeah, this is a very hard time to be looking for a job, that is for sure. And so a lot of it would be around trying to find any way in which you can contribute and develop that may or may not be in the field that you were thinking of. It might not pay what you want, the living situation might not be what you want. But just as long as you're growing at all professionally, you should feel good about it. Don't think, I really want to get into politics, so I have to make sure it's the perfect job in that space. No, just if you can find anyone that will give you a chance to lend a hand, just freaking go for it. And if and that's going to be hard too. Just even that's easier said than done. So it would be about trying to find ways to make sure you're still developing in some respect, even if you're trapped at home for a while. Making schedules for yourself, like setting goals for yourself that
Like
are
I wake up at
achievable,
5:30.
reaching out to people who
At
don't
least.
feel like it, because it's very easy to
Exercise.
become somewhat
Do 50
of a
push-ups.
shut-in,
Starter. That's
I
it.
think,
Do
during
50
this time
push-ups.
for a lot of
Hey,
folks.
might sound crazy.
But you have
50
to
push-ups.
continue to try and put yourself out there. I don't have
Look, this is the thing. Alright, I play the game all day long. I got a lot of shit going on. Now look, check this out. 50 push-ups is not hard to do, right? If you could do that a day, why not? Now you might say, oh, you know what I'm saying, but I could do 50 push-ups. I could do but have your mindset, can you do 100 push-ups, right? Now, this is the thing. You have to put it's a mindset to get yourself going with it, right? So if you haven't done that in about a week or two or more, this is my suggestion, right? To get to 50 push-ups, I do this here. Do 10 push-ups, do 20, then do 10 again, then do your last 10. 50 push-ups, right? So you just do 10 push-ups, boom, boom, boom. While you playing the game, you might sit down and be waiting on the load screen or whatever like that. While the screen loading, get your 10 in right quick, boom. Play the game, get back into the game, do some stuff like that. About maybe 30 minutes. I'm just saying this here. 30 minutes to probably go by. You game, and then all of a sudden you like, damn, I gotta wait for him. While I'm waiting on him to get my 20 in. Boom, 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 boom. Get your 20 in, right? You be like, oh shit, now let me try to, you might have to shake it off for a second, especially if your body ain't used to it. You to hit that 20. Now you feeling good, right? You like, yeah, I'm starting to feel it in my arm a little bit. Because you did 30. I mean, in your mind, you realize, then you get in, do your 10. Boom, 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 boom. Like, yeah, I can do them 10. Now you pump, you ready to do that last 10, but kind of hold yourself like, okay, boom, play, then get on and hit your last 10. Now, you could do more. You gonna, in your mind, you be like, I could do more push-ups, but this the thing. Don't do no more. Just stick at that 50 right there. Do that for like a couple weeks. Just do it for a couple weeks. After you do that for a couple weeks, then if you want to do more, then go more. But that's something that if you're able to do like push-ups, if you could do 10 push-ups here, then do 20, then do 10 and 10, you can get, you know what I'm saying, just know just by the time you get that first 10, you can sit back and get back and gaming. And know what else that'll help you too? That'll help your mind when you think while you gaming. Like, you know, the greatest chess player, he always talked about exercising as well. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And they really took it like as a partial joke. But in reality, exercising actually stimulates, you know what I'm saying, the airflow in the blood, and it goes into your mind, help with your timing and your action and your reaction and your thought processing as well. So it's more of a balance type situation. That's the only reason why I'm bringing that up. I'm not a person to sit there and say, come on, exercise, we're going to do this here. Hey, I'm a motivational. Well, you know what I'm saying? I do, but at the same time, I just throw it out there. And if you want to, you know, bam. They hit that like button for that. But if you know, if you don't want to see that, just know it's just like, it's good for, I'm about to say progress. But yeah, progress, but just seeing improvement and then seeing a progress after time. You don't want to see it right now, just a little bit here, a little bit there, and then all of a sudden when you look back, you're like, damn, that's a lot of progress. That's like when you're playing the game, you get to a point, you get stuck, and then you go back and you do it again, and you say, oh, and you go back and do it again, then you say, now I see something, then you go back and you're like, oh yeah, that was it, let me try it again. Now you know what to do. Then you might have to hit it about 2 or 3 more times, but by the time the third time comes, every time the person coming in, you see this arm movement do a certain way, you know I'm going to press this button here now. I'm going to do this way here. I'm going to do this way here, and bam. And then all of a sudden you're going to defeat that and go on to the next step. Same scenario. That's all it is. And hopefully, I'm just here because think about it. The better help you are, the better you keep yourself up. I mean, do as much as you possibly can to keep yourself up, because nobody else going to do it for you. That's the only thing I'm basically saying. And that way, we could be doing this for years and years and years to come, or as long as possible. You see what I'm saying? That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. But finish jacking for podcast.
Great advice. One of the things I will say though is that if you have time, like
and I ain't always right.
Where like if you're a young person, you'll be able to.
I'm close to
have
doing
this
better.
be like an early bump in the road, but it's not going to define your whole journey. Like the people I'm the most concerned about are folks where, you know, they spent 10 years working on some restaurant or bar or food truck that now is like completely kaput. You know, like that stuff breaks my heart because I'm like you, Hank. Like I love entrepreneurs. I love people who are actually trying to make something positive happen. And this crisis is going to do a number on entrepreneurs to a higher level than if you've got some corporate job that lets you work from home.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's so hard and so rewarding when it's working, but when it's not working, it's very hard to work through failure, and like not just while it's happening, but afterward. And I think that the important thing to know is,
Hey.
one, hopefully everybody gets
Oh,
that,
check this out. Hold
someone's
on. I'm
fault.
finna end this with him. But look,
that like
Joe
your failure
Rogan.
was not
We
your
finna
fault
watch.
in
I'm
this
finna check out Robert Storm. We
circumstance.
finna jack. Hold up.
And
Come here, Robert
also
Robert
that,
Storm.
like,
We finna jack him. He talk a lot about
you know,
video.
that, like,
He talk about a lot of
one
Marvel
of
and
the
DC.
things-
Kind
one
of
of the
start
really
talking
great
about
things
video
about making
games
your
now.
own
But
project,
he say
investing
Joe
in-
Rogan
like taking your money and
is
spending it on
say video
your
games
treatment
are a
instead
waste of
someone
time,
else's
right? I'm finna
is
find out what he
how
got to
much
say,
you
because you know,
and you can take those skills other
freeze. We finna find out what he had to say because we gonna find out what he had to say because you know, me personally, I'm trying to create the experience like what Joe Rogan have, but from a hood version of it. Like you know what I had said the other day. What the thing about it is, you know what I'm saying? This gonna go from here to start expanding. You're gonna see the progress, professional aggression, right? So y'all gonna see everything start coming about, and we're gonna have gaming stuff going on. So if Joe Rogan don't, you know what I'm saying, he said gaming a waste of time, I can't say that he don't think that because he might think a certain way. And you know me, I'm on the side of being in shape and doing things, but gaming to me, it helps with critical thinking. It helps really with critical thinking because, like I was just explaining, take that case if you was here, the case scenario what I was saying about with the gaming and how you got to use your brain to actually get to advance, right? So you got to use your brain to advance, and then you don't get so determined when you have obstacles in front of you because you're used to it by playing video games, and video games is all about having obstacles to overcome. Let's see what Joe Rogan has to say. But this is, we're going to be watching it from Robert Storm, right? So Robert Storm going to give his opinion about Joe Rogan, and me, Triple Co, we're going to do this the third way around. We're going to give our opinion on we're going to give our opinion on Robert Storm, giving his opinion on Joe Rogan, and we're going to say how we feel about Joe Rogan. Let's do it. Man, I'll be trying. Let's go.
Oh yeah, we got a hot topic today. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna say. This is a hot topic. Got a hot topic today. See what Robert Storm got to say about Joe Rogan. I'm gonna get my
Welcome
thoughts.
back to the channel once again. If you're new to the
Fuck
channel,
with him. He's pretty cool.
hit that like and
He got his
subscribe
lefts and
button,
rights though,
guys.
but
Yesterday, Joe
yeah, he's
Rogan
pretty
on
cool.
his podcast apparently had a
Robert
lot
Storm.
to say about gamers and video games, and we're gonna look at that clip. We're gonna take it because
this is my
I
live
really
reaction to
kinda
his
what
reaction.
he had to say. I think I understand what he was
I'm
trying to
going
say.
live
but
with a
I
live
disagree with what he
reaction.
had to say. So we're gonna take a look at that clip, and I'm gonna kind of talk about how I feel about what Joe Rogan had to say. Also, before we get to that, I just want to take the time to thank each and every one of you. We
like to thank you, and we like to thank you. Just thanking you. Just thanking you. Good Joe Rogan.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys so much. We're trying to get to 25,000 subscribers. So if you enjoyed this video,
I'm with
if you
it.
like my other content, please consider, if you're not already a subscriber,
Low
hit that
cash.
subscribe button. So let's just go over
Hey, all
to
that
Joe Rogan
come to me
clip
too. Subscribe to me.
and
All the good
find
shit that he
out
did
what
promotion.
Joe Rogan has to say about games. So let's go over to that.
Let's see what.
clip.
Let's watch his live we watching
And we're gonna see
Robert
what Joe
Storm's
Rogan has
live
to say
reaction
about
to
video
Joe
games.
Rogan's
Like a career.
our live reaction.
But I think that there's a lot of people that don't have any. There's no one. They're not modeling their life after someone that they see that they admire. Someone that's successful. Someone that is doing something that they enjoy and love. Sometimes kids have to see that. And if their parents are living a bullshit life and their neighbors are living a bullshit life.
Now, for the record, I actually believe I agree with everything he's saying thus far. Right? Like kids do have a real problem today modeling after other people, you know, and that's the thing. You can just see where kids are kind of just wasting their life now. They have no one to look up to, and their parents aren't really doing anything, and they can't look at their parents for guidance. So I agree with everything he's saying so far.
Yeah, I'm with him. I'm with him as well.
Life, and most of their family lives a bullshit life. They just fucking lay around, you know, and then they seek refuge in drugs or video games or something that stimulates them. And video games are a real problem. They're a real problem. You know why? Because they're fucking fun. And you know, yeah, well,
This is where I start to disagree with what he has to say.
I mean,
because
I guess he's talking about
feel
serotonin.
like-
I mean,
I feel like he doesn't get it. I feel like when he first tried to say was true. Like yes, the kids don't have nothing to look forward to or look up to rather, and their parents are like a lot of these people that have bad parents who don't give a fuck. They have no one to look up to, and they kind of just lead down this path. But then it kind of feels like right now he's getting into games as the cop-out reason. Almost like every time you see a mass shooting, some politician always tries to blame it on video games. So I feel like Rogan's sort of kind of going in that direction, and that's why I start to disagree. But let's see what he's got to say.
I disagree a little
I
bit
have a
with
real
him.
problem with them. And you do them, and they're real exciting, but you don't get anywhere.
Right.
It's like you could do like martial arts,
Disagree.
right? You could learn jujitsu. You get obsessed by jujitsu, and then 3 years later, you're like an elite jujitsu athlete. Like you're entering in competitions. You're a purple belt.
You're moving up.
Yeah, you're doing well. You're thinking like, I might be able to open my own school one
You
day.
got confidence.
Yeah, if I have 100 students and those 100 students are paying me X amount of dollars per month, I
It's
can
just
go
he
live
old
it.
school. He don't
Holy
realize
shit,
video
this
games
would be
is the
amazing. And then you
it's
see
the
your jiu-jitsu
involvement of that.
school, and your jiu-jitsu instructor has
Online.
all these
People making money
students, drives
online now.
Mercedes,
Easy
he's got a
making
nice
money online.
family, like that's the future. This way you're doing something exciting and fun, and you don't. Or you could just be playing fucking video games.
doing the same
Okay.
thing. Same exact
This
thing.
is
Building
where I
building
start
your
to have
company
massive
over
problem
video
with
games.
Joe Rogan had to say.
Go ahead, Storm.
So he's sitting there going, you can sit around playing video games, but if you model yourself off of something or models yourself off of someone, you can do jiu-jitsu. Learn jiu-jitsu, and in 3 years you can be a jiu-jitsu master.
Right.
And you can open your own jiu-jitsu school and teach, and you can be successful and have great cars and hot girlfriends, and like this is pretty much what he's saying.
And you
So
can have the
can
same
use that
thing.
analogy for anything. You can use that for anything, including video games. Okay.
I agree with Robert
If
Stone.
you like to draw, and you start drawing for 3 years, and you get really good, and
He
then
don't like
guess
video
what? You
games.
can start doing art lessons, or you can start selling your art at convention, or maybe you're a writer and you start writing for 3 years, and you can use that for anything. He's using jiu-jitsu because he likes jiu-jitsu. He loves mixed martial arts. That's what he is. A lot of you guys know
Right.
him from Fear Factor.
And he on
but
video
plays
games.
A huge role in the UFC. He loves mixed martial arts. Okay, he loves fitness. He loves.
Don't
all
forget that
stuff.
Joe Rogan
So, of
in
course,
video
you can use
games.
Jiu-jitsu as an example, right? But you can use that example for anything, including, that's right, video games, right? You can sit there. I've been playing video games since I was like 3, 4, around there, back in the NES days. And I'm not a pro gamer. I never claimed to be a pro gamer. I play games because it's fun, it's relaxing. I don't spend too much time on it. Maybe at the most, I think the most I've ever spent in one day was playing like maybe 8 hours, and that was Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Exactly.
I had the day off. There was nothing else for me to do. But I've been working a full-time job since I was 19, since I graduated.
Right.
You know,
You work a job
I
like
do
everybody else.
YouTube. I stream
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Me too.
I
We do the
am
same shit.
taking what video games have taught me as a kid, and I use that to be creative. Final
I do the
Fantasy
same
is one of
thing,
my
too.
favorite video games of all time.
I'm not a Final
got
Fantasy
me
fan.
into storytelling and all these fantasy lores and fiction, and it really made my mind creative. Movies do that for some people. Books do that for some people. Comic books do that for some people.
I think mine
Guess
was the
what?
Ninja Turtles.
Jiu-Jitsu does that for some people.
Or just
Joe
toys
Rogan.
and create my
So
own
sit there and
stories.
say video games, in
More
your
or
opinion,
less.
is a waste of time. And I get what you're saying. That yes, there's a large majority of kids today that sit in front of a game and that's all they do. They don't have a job. They don't have nothing. And like the first point, because they have bad parents to model themselves after. My dad was very hard on me. Right, my dad wouldn't let me sit in front of the video games and play that thing for like 10 hours a day.
Some of that Rainbow
I would play
Six.
video games after school after my
I
homework
used to
was
like
done,
Rainbow
and I got to play with the
Six.
games until I went to bed.
When it
Then
first
on Saturdays and
came out,
Sundays, I would be
then
able
I
to play
became
my
more of a
games.
Battlefield
But
player.
sit there and say that
But I like the concept of the new Rainbow
be
Six.
something great in your life. Well, guess
Where
what?
y'all team
There's
up and
a
go
lot
do
of people
shit. I
now
fucks with
who
that.
grew up with video games, who had great models for parents, that showed them that yes, you can take video games and you can make a living off of it. Gaming is a massive revenue income for me on my channel, right? I game stream all the time. Like I'm right now, Ghost of Tsushima. I'm streaming it.
he ranting.
Right? That is revenue for
If
my
that's all
channel.
Joe Rogan had to
Well,
say
games
about
are
video
waste of
games,
time.
but I
No,
think he gonna have some more to
anything
say.
that is story based,
I'm gonna let his
that
rant
is
keep continuing,
creative,
and I'm
that
gonna
allows
come
you
back
to
and clip it ahead
expand
here.
your creativity,
Reaction
and allow
to
you to
and
do
reaction.
certain things is not a waste of time. Like, that's saying writing
Nah,
is a waste of
wow.
time. Movies is a waste of time. But like anybody with that mindset, you can say anything. Jiu-jitsu, for me, like maybe, how would you feel about saying jiu-jitsu is a waste of time? Oh man, I gotta get up and I gotta learn jiu-jitsu, all this, blah, 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 blah.
And all you gotta do is get a
Well,
gun.
it's not a waste of time to
For a
you,
person
Joe
that gotta
Rogan.
get a gun.
Games are not a
Yeah,
waste of
that
time
makes sense.
for a lot of other people. I get what you're
Why
saying.
learn jiu-jitsu
that,
if you get a
yes,
gun?
there is a majority of people out there that are just sitting at the house. I know, my brother was one of them. For years. Just sat around the house and I did a goddamn thing but playing video games. His mother didn't care, my mother didn't care. She was
All
just
of
sitting
them.
there collecting
Right now I'm playing
food, so I
Battlefield
understand
5. They
where you're
added
coming from. There's a lot of people out there in the
some
world
new maps and
that
some new
do
modes
that.
to it.
But to sit there
And I
talk
just started to get
video
back
games,
into it. I've been on it for about a
it's
good
kinda
month.
wrong because it's not
Off
just
and
video
on.
games.
Probably play an hour
Like, there's
here,
a lot of different
twice, 3 times a week
activities out
maybe.
there
But I do get on
that
Battlefield 5.
also cause
Battlefield 1.
people to do that.
I used to
you
play,
know?
my favorite is
And-
Battlefield 4.
Like they say further on,
So
I
far.
guess I ought to finish what else he had to say because
Yeah,
they talk about pro games.
Let's continue the reaction to the
after,
reaction.
Years later, you could be that same kid just playing video games, waiting for the next whatever the fuck game is, next Xbox game to come out, and you're gonna waste your time.
You have children.
Xbox
I
for
have children, and it's a big battle in the house. And my kids, I don't know. This guy made all this money with this video game. He's
That's
a man.
real too. That's
Right?
real too
So-
now.
so-
What you gotta say about
like,
that, Rogan?
That's 1 in a billion, kid.
I don't know if it's 1 in a billion, but
Look, I heard the same argument about comedy.
So
Nah,
here's my thought
see, hey, you
process.
should have looked at Joe Rogan's eyes, how he kind of looked down. He just don't like video games because he wants you to be active. I get what he wants, you be active. Go ahead.
A lot of kids, like parents nowadays, instead of actually being parents, they just hand
And
their
you
kids
a-
a tablet and go,
yeah,
hey, play
exactly.
Candy Crush.
Here you go.
or
He
play
right about
Fortnite.
that.
Here's a tablet, just leave me alone, right? Like, I understand. Kids need discipline. Kids need role models. I understand Joe Rogan.
I played a little Battlefield 3, but I more
be disciplined. You can learn
Yeah.
to perform. You can be a master. You can do
Investing
like
in
you go
folk.
to your own school,
I hear a lot of people
stuff
say
like that.
Battlefield 3
You do
or
the same thing with video games.
bad
At
company.
the end of the day,
There was a lot of
if
people
your
favorite.
parents aren't there to discipline you or there for you to look up to, jiu-jitsu isn't going to help either. You know? So video games can be that for a
I
lot
do
of people.
agree with what he's
There are a
saying.
lot of ways
You
to be
when
very
a
successful
parent just say,
video
"Huh,
games.
take this, go,
Whether
huh,
it
take this,
is
go."
being a pro
They do
gamer,
that too much.
being a YouTuber, being a Twitch streamer,
I'm a
being
YouTuber.
a creator, go and work for a company in the studio and create your own game. Make your own indie game. Indie games are so popular right now. And
I could
doing
create a
so
whole movie
well
just by
that
freestyling
anybody
the movie.
come in
Let's put this
and
together.
make an indie
I
game,
might start doing
put
some
it on a platform and be successful.
okay, blah 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 blah. Hey, check this out. We can go you know what I'm saying, do some stuff like this here. Like a GoFundMe, I might come up with just random stuff, like I might just freestyle a whole movie idea, and if we could take that and you say, hey Triple Coach, I like this idea, let's add it with this idea and put it out this here. Go out there with a GoFundMe to put it out there to see if we can get somebody attention to do some extra stuff with it. Just stuff that like that we could do, and whatever we can do from that, then do giveaways and say, hey, man, appreciate everybody for rocking with me. Those types of things, and talk about video game and have some video game challenges and stuff like that. And a lot of people saying they think I'm joking. I was talking about I might purchase a PlayStation 5 before the new Xbox Series X, but I really might. And the thing about it is, Sony have the opportunity to get my sale first. They can fuck it all the way up. There's nothing Microsoft could do. Nothing Microsoft could do. And I got my own reasons. Have 7 with more guns. Yeah. But I have my reasons. If Sony fuck it up, then I'm not purchasing the PlayStation 5. But if they do the right thing for the people, then I'm gonna grab a PlayStation 5. Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna get me the Xbox Series X, but I'm talking about which console I'm gonna purchase first. And I'm not saying I'm not bragging like, I hear a lot of these YouTubers and they be about to sank themselves. They gonna say, I'm gonna get the next Xbox and a PlayStation. Day one. I ain't got it. I ain't diving. I tried, but I ain't got it. But I'm going to do what I can. And why even lie about something like that? I'm going to go buy them things going to be $500 a piece. Let's be honest with it. I mean, a Switch. Now, me personally, Switch to me is your secondary console. That's not bad because the secondary actually could get more sales than the first, right? First is you have, let's say, 100 people. 50 people buy a PlayStation, right? And 50 people buy an Xbox. right? And out of these 50 people that bought a PlayStation, is only 25% that's gonna buy both, right? And then you still have out of this 50 and 50. Now, out of 50 people for the Xbox and 50 for the PlayStation, 25% of them is gonna buy a Switch, and 25 for the PlayStation is gonna buy a Switch for their secondary console, right? Instead of the PlayStation buying the Xbox and Xbox buying the PlayStation. Now you have that, and on top of that, you have your core Nintendo Switch players. That's a win-win-win for Nintendo. So you win in the Xbox people, you win in the PlayStation people, and you got your own community of people. So with that being said, Nintendo put themselves in the perfect position for the role they're trying to play. And I wish personally, they marketed wouldn't have been the way they did. They should have marketed the way it should have been, as in a mobile device. To the Nintendo Switch, the next mobile device that you could play on your TV, instead of saying it like it's a console. If they would say like it was a mobile device, and then you get some sub 720p picture on your television, you'd be like, damn, this bitch powerful. But in the case scenario of them saying about it being a console, that make you feel like it should be console power worthy. But Nintendo Switch, I give them credit for being creative, because they do a lot of creativity, and that's what I like about the gaming community. It's not about 4K or 1080p or 120 frames. All that's not is good. Retracing and all these things, it's cool. All this is no. That to me is just like, all right, you already got it done. You know what to do. You know how to do it. It's almost like it's assembly now. We're going to give y'all this amount of power, and then next, we're going to give y'all this amount of power. We might have all this already lined up, but we're going to spoon feed y'all that way for the next so many years. We could be able to do this here. We don't have nothing else to think about. I mean, their creativity level is very limited. When the Xbox came out with the Xbox One first time, it sold me on not just the games, it was the capability of it. Now, the generation that got to the fact of we are in a position where the Xbox and the PlayStation is known in everybody's house. Now you got stuff like the Alexa, where you could talk to these devices and your phone, and people that's more accustomed to it and being able to go on there and just be more casual with it. So they more accepting for having like an Xbox, right, that could do all of these things. What they need to do is learn from what the Nintendo did. They and from their mistake of, instead of calling it a console, they could have called it a handheld and sold it for the same price, did everything the exact same way, but just put it in the category of a handheld that could do console things. With Microsoft, Nintendo, their strong point is handheld, right? So with Microsoft, their strong point is Windows, PC. What they need to come out with, instead of these Xboxes, still Xbox, but you can call it like a PC that's made by Xbox. And what I mean by a PC that's made by Xbox, you can stream your Xbox games through this PC. You can have it where you can build up on your PC. You can add things like you got a printer. Everything a real PC can do that you can project, and you can push and say, oh, you can add a monitor, or you can set it and put it on your television screen. You can use a controller. You can use the keyboard and mouse that's wireless, and all these things come with it. Because right now the Xbox come with all these things, but you have all of the features of an actual PC. So like when you go on your computer, like some of these websites you can't open up on your phone, that you need to have your PC to go do this. All of these things could be done on Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Just have their own personal PC. Well, if a person got to work from out their computer, off the phone, you can have it on your Xbox. Everything that you could do that's business-wise, you could do on your Xbox. Pull where you can have a little side screen, so you can watch a movie, same thing, the snap feature, but instead of having just the snap feature, you could just have a little screen where you could just have a little part where it come in right there, the little small corner, and you could be watching TV while you're working across the screen, doing all the things that you have to do if you have to work like that, right? And then you might be sitting down working and stuff like that. You might want to game, and by being able to switch over, you could game, you could stream things. They could introduce it like, hey, the same way I was seeing this Apple Watch commercial, right? So the Apple Watch commercial, they talked about it was an Apple Watch, and they said it could do this, right? They should advertise it as a PC, right? And say, oh, get you a new computer that's made by Microsoft, by Xbox, right? So you're able to have X, Y, and Z and be able to do everything on your PC. Is a one-stop shop. A lot of people don't want to build PCs, but they need PCs for all the type of things that they have in their house. Instead of having this Windows PC, you have an Xbox PC and branded with that black, right? With the Xbox circle logo branded with the black. So when people see it now with this new Series X, it looks like a PC. It looks like a PC. It needs to have outlet plugs, that 1 or 2 USB port thing. They need more of those. They need to have things where you can connect anything that you need to do. This needs to replace your computer. And they need to have it where it's possible. That's why they need to brand one where, like how people could take their PCs and make them more powerful or whatever like that. They should have it where it should be easy access to it, and have it where they don't advise it for you to replace it, to add things in them, and that breaks your warranty. And have it where you can have this Xbox and you can make it more powerful. But then if you get a game and it's not working on your stupid powerful Xbox because you overdid some shit on your own personal thing, you'd avoid the warranty. But it's available to you if you want to do that. So if you want to open up your Xbox and add components to make your PC Xbox be as powerful as whatever PC you want it to be, and being able to have the capability of doing all of your work and sitting out, printing things out, and have it where it's compatible with your phone. So you might be looking at something on your phone, you can push a button and it pulls straight to your PC, Xbox, and it pulls straight to your TV. And if you want to, you can work off your phone, straight onto your TV, off of your Xbox, or if you want the screen to go to your keyboard, mouse, or your controller. Those key factors are features that's highly needed. Now you can sell it that way and then double down on it and have it where you have plugs when they're talking about this cable box and stuff like that, and have with all these streaming service, and have it where everything is in one shop. Like, oh, you can have where it say TV streaming service, and have all this here real TV where everything is right instantly right there in the person's face. That's a casual. Like when they turn on their Xbox and say Xbox on, they come and take you can have it like go to work call and everything switch to like work games, and you can boom, it'll switch over to how you want the games. Or you gotta do any type of creativity to make it, you know what I'm saying, as futuristic as possible and future proof it by making it a PC with different outlet plugs and USB cards where you can put in thumb drives, and being able to have those things there. That's gonna make Microsoft Xbox go to the next level. Then you have subscription service. You can always do deals with your subscription service of 3 months of Game Pass or 3 months of this, or I'm pissed off y'all took that year away, because that's all I like to purchase is my years. Y'all can take all of these games and all of these things and Game Pass and put them in for the PC. So if a person that got the Xbox PC, they can say, hey, you know what? They seen this advertising for the games and the movies. Or let me get Game Pass for a month for the kids. We got some kids coming over, got all these games here, and download these games and have it right there. Or even better, where you could just, if you don't feel like downloading, you could just stream the game straight off Game Pass. You could either download it or just stream it. Some of these story-based games where you don't need that much bandwidth to play, or a little bit of lag don't bother nobody. Some type ass games, you could just stream them. Instead of waiting to download them for 2 days or whatever it might take with these new games that's going to come out. Who knows how big they're going to be. But you can stream them. And then you could download some games if you want to, or you can stream them. The choice is on you. Like, you might want to play a game that's trigger finger based, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to hit it fast, like that type of thing. So you got to have, I got to download this here, because if I don't, I'm going to lose, because I'm going to get timed out from people beating me on the post. So it's just options. Things like that will bring Xbox to the next level, because PlayStation can't do it, because they wouldn't be considered as a PC. Xbox can lean into their strong suit of becoming a PC, and they could use that and to have the community come from one side to the other. You know what I'm saying? The bridge. That's how you can bridge the gap when it comes to gaming. And you can have like with a parties and a live chat, and they can have like arguments saying like to get everybody involved into the community. They could have a controller with a microphone. You hold a button to talk. The speakers is playing the other people's voice, so you can hear what they're saying while you gaming. You can adjust to say that my gameplay 50% lower than the people that's in the party voice, or have the people in the party voice 50% lower than my game, 75, 80, and that's it. And then once you hold this button to talk, you could be like, yeah, man, you could be gaming like this here. And then while you gaming, just take a split second, hold, like, yeah, man, da-da-da-da. All you got to be just hold it down. I'm just doing this here so you can see what I'm doing. So you just hold it down like, oh man, make a left on such and such. Then keep playing the game. Boom, 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 boom. Or just you can still put your headphones setting up and then just put it on your head and do what the fuck you been doing. Just that option. PlayStation heard me. And Xbox, I've been saying all this stuff. Y'all should have been checking me out, but y'all let Sony PlayStation beat y'all to the punch. So Phil Spencer, you know who I am. You know who I am, and you know this information. All these different features that we can have that can make the community a 10 times better and stronger. And I know with if you turn to the Xbox and have it like a PC, you can add where you can do your work stuff in there. And you go like how y'all sold Mixer to Facebook. You got to have a feature of your Facebook. You can pull it to your TV. Instantly, and it's fluent. The way you move things, and you can actually pull it to a side screen if you want to have a side thing. Not just what I was saying about the picture-in-picture, where you can have a TV if you want to watch TV while you're playing on Netflix or Hulu and stuff like that. But at the same time, you can pull up that little side screen if you want to. See, those types of things will bring it to the next generation. When Microsoft don't right, thinking, right, when Microsoft ain't doing is they focusing on, what they are doing is they focusing too much on these loud motherfuckers that, we want this, we want that. And as soon as you give them that, they want something else. Is an endless supply of that. You know what I'm saying? You can go in this circle and keep doing that. Or you can make something that's recyclable that could help benefit the people that's really fans. Listen to somebody like me before. Well, I ain't gonna say before. Go ahead, PlayStation. Your shit out. You might can't speak English, but you got somebody that know how to speak both languages that's hearing me, that's getting it back to you, saying stuff like put the in the controller, a microphone in the controller. You got things like that that's going on. You have people that's just looking like what's gonna be the next step. I'm looking at simple things. Nintendo, they strong suit is the handheld. So when they lean into that, they should have just switched the name around. They capitalized. That Nintendo Switch, I don't think they had to do is just come the next generation, whenever they get ready to drop now, I can guarantee you it's going to be that all-in-one handheld Switch. Maybe even put a phone case in there. You can put your phone inside of there. Remember, Dreamcast. You know, I had the little thing that you could put inside. They may have some shit in there, boom, you can put in there. And you know how they have, Nintendo got the shit you can put on top. They going to do some shit like that, right? Xbox, strong suit, Microsoft, Windows, PC. Make an Xbox that's a PC, literally a PC that you can add all these different parts to. You can stream your games to, sell it as a PC to everybody, been able to stream your games to it, have it well. It's not advised to open up, but you can open it up because it's, have it well. A person can do it, can add parts like a PC, but you break warranty once you do that. Simple. All these things I'm talking about is common sense. But I'm guessing these people are getting paid these billions of dollars to bring these ideas, and I'm just a simple YouTuber that's just coming up. They're just coming out the grind. But I'm guessing that's why I'm coming. We Synergy. We have all these innovative ideas to bring it to the next generation. We're not gonna be like how everybody else saying 4K, 60 frames per second, power, 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 gang, 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 gang. Okay, there it's still on. Hey, Quantum Break, right? The only reason why I say why Quantum Break was failing because I was listening to the people, and a lot of people were saying about they didn't care for the cutscene and watching the movie because they was in the game and they pulled them out the game to come back in the game, so it was too much of this and that. And then it was too long and all this shit. And they was like, oh, y'all want a story-driven game? It was a fully story-driven game that had all these different elements and stuff like that. Now, what I was looking at was with Quantum Break, what they should have did, they should have gave you a big-ass payoff. That would have made the game just stand to the next level. You play Quantum Break, right? And the decisions that you make, all the decisions that you make, chop, 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 and they have like the little branches when you're making these decisions. Same gameplay, same movement, same things you do. Might be something that you might move. Your cup might be on this side, something simple, some all complex, right? And all of a sudden, when you beat the game, your story changes. So you're watching a live action show now. The whole lot, after you finish the game, you watching the whole live action show and your decisions by being time travel, you being able to see the different steps of the time and how it came back around to loop to where y'all started at and why nothing really changed because it was under a time loop, right? And that case scenario, now you can go back in time and play the game again to try to do it a different way, to try to get out of this time loop scenario. But every time you play the game, you beat it and you do something different. It always ends you back up to this end case scenario, which is the movie. But every time you beat it, you seeing different elements of different people do different things, which always ultimately lead back up to the same case scenario. See, that right there, next level. Microsoft, y'all could have took that same idea and just did that. They would have made a single player game have multiple experiences. And then on top of that, they could have added elements into a game. What I mean by added elements into the game, they could say, okay, well, they go Quantum Break is out. You know what I'm saying? You play it about 4 or 5 times and seeing this movie. They play it out this way. Now you drop some DLC that you can go back and play that add into this movie. They could be like something they have from this perspective, or a continuation on this angle, or maybe something else they have with this other person that you get a new character. They got to go back in time and let all your stuff that play out the way this played out, and you got to go around without messing with this timeline, because you know how fragile it is, and if you touch anything that should not be touched, that you can get wiped out of existence. That's a sequel. That could have been a sequel, but I'm thinking about that, just something like that for DLC. Now, sequel, it could have been 10 times more. Now, we would have been having a Quantum Break 2 right now. With me bringing situations like this up to discussion is what I like to talk about when it comes to video games. But when it comes to 4K, how many times can you say goddamn 4K? How many times we got to sit down and listen to somebody say, this running at 30 frames per second, this one running at 60 frames per second? How many times can we talk about these ones and zeros? That they heard. That's all they doing most of the time. Well, that's enough of me ranting. I'm gonna as I digress, take my last sip of this coffee. You see it shining? Get your shine on. But I just wanted to end it on some gaming news. You know what I'm saying? Just doing some up shit. But like I said, it's your boy Triple Cup Chuck. I'm up. You know what I'm saying? Right now, right here, all this good sweat, blood, sweat, and tears is all for a good cause, because I enjoy doing this here. I turn off. My cousin told me this here. This is behind the scenes talk. He's like, man, Chuck, why you turn all this ad stuff off? I was like, you know, I don't like somebody hearing I'm trying to do a podcast or doing something and you hear all this noise in the background. I try to have it as much pleasant as possible, and I enjoy doing it. So I'm willing. He said, man, you sacrifice for your people. I'm like, to me, it's not a sacrifice. It's just something I enjoy doing. But I just wanted to bring that up. But yeah, man, appreciate it. You heard me? But we can catch you next time. Try to do it. And up with a cup don't always mean in the morning with Chuck. It could be in the evening. We could be outside doing things or going out. It's just, you know what I'm saying, cup time. You got a cup, just hit the like button and, you know, toast with your boy. That's all we doing this morning. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you for rocking with me. Catch y'all next time. Oh, and I'm going to clip that, with the Joe Rogan. And I'm going to put the video thing right there. And I'm going to do the live reaction so people can hear with the live reaction. Or just if people to miss that part, just if you want to go back and watch without having to trying to go through the video and shit like that. You know how this shit works with this YouTube. And it's take too long for this shit to re-upload. Even though it's this morning, who knows when YouTube decides to say, okay, Triple Cup, we're going to let the video be available for replay. But that's enough of this shit, man. Holla at you, man. Remember, I don't do this for me. I do this for we. All of us. Okay, I got it this time here. I be looking at the TV screen and trying to push the button at the same time.